Before we start this video, a large thank you to Carter, Hori Asteri, Robert, Andrew, and Hans for their support on Patreon. I hope you guys enjoy the video. And as usual, an immense thank you to HaloBurner for their continued support to the channel this month on Patreon. It is greatly appreciated, my friend, and I hope you enjoy the video. Hello everybody, today we are going to continue with our level up system. So first I'm going to go to the player UI level up manager. I'm going to make a header for levels, and I'm going to make a serializable field integer array. I'm going to call this player levels. I'm going to initialize it at my level count. So just for the sake of the video, I'm going to do 100. So 0 is not a level, and then you can go to level 99. So there's 100 positions in the array. I think Elden Ring and Dark Souls go to 1000, so if you want to do that, go for that as well. I'm just going to do 100 for the sake of the video. And then I'm going to make a serializable field, an integer for base level cost. Going to make it 83. So that means this is going to be the cost to go from, say, level 1 to 2. Then we're going to go private void set all levels cost. And this is going to go through our array and set the cost of each individual level. And then on awake, we're going to call this. It doesn't do anything right now, so call set all levels cost. And now let's write our formula. So I'm going to do a for loop to iterate through each of our player levels. Again, remember I have 100. There is level 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right to level 99 because there's 100 positions in the array. And I am going to set the cost by saying if I is equal to 0, we're going to continue because there is no cost for level 0. I believe this is how it's going to work out. I'm actually have to remove that. We'll see when it's done. Player levels I is equal to, we're going to say base level cost. I'm just going to say plus, we're going to do 50 plus or times I. So this is just something I thought of off the top of my head. It's not, you write your own formula for sure, depending on how you want it to scale, but this should work. Now, if I go into the game here, press play, watch the inspector, these should all populate with the cost. Yes, here we go. So you can see here, good to go from whatever to whatever. This will be the cost, and it goes up. And keep in mind, these all don't get added together. For example, if you're already level 17, you don't pay through 1 to 17 to go to 18. You just pay from 17 to 18. That's the way Elden Ring and Dark Souls works. So let's make a private void calculate total level cost. We're going to pass an integer for the current level and an integer for our projected level. So the level we're currently at and the level we expect to be at by the time we're done or we try to accept and confirm this menu. So we're going to say here we don't want to charge for levels we already paid for, which is what I just said just now. So for example, if you enter this menu and your level, we'll say 21, you're going to go to 22. We're not going to add the cost of levels 1 to 21. We're just going to add the cost from level 21 to 22. Because in Dark Souls and Elden Ring, you pay for the cost and confirm it, and that's it. You can also have your currency on you and lose it. So we're going to make an int for the total cost, and then we're going to go through a for loop here. And we're just going to compare this against the projected level. So we're going to say as long as I is less than projected level, we're going to say if projected level is less than or equal to current level, we're going to continue because there is no cost because you haven't reached the point where you're at yet. Or sorry, that's going to be I is less than or equal to current level. And again, we can make a comment here, do not charge until we get past our current level. And then down here right under that, we can say, let's just say total, whoop, misspelled that. Total cost plus equals player levels I. So however many positions we pass on our array. So okay, you're at 21, you're going to 22 and 23. Take the cost of 22 and 23 and add it on to our total cost. Just that simple. And if you want to, you can make this an int and then return it if you want to get the total cost that way and then compare it. But I'm just going to make this a function because we're going to do a couple other things in here too. So I would change that back in a moment, but like many ways to do this. So if we go over here to our calculate character levels based on attributes, you could just copy that and then paste it down here and change it to do the same thing to get the level from your projected level. But there's a thing amongst people in game dev where they say if you can not repeat something, you shouldn't. So instead of putting this somewhere else where if we change it in one place, it could kind of confuse us if we forget to change it in another, let's keep it all in the same location also. Let's just make this require a bool, but set it defaultly to false. So the bool is calculate projected level. By default, it's false. And we're just going to make an if statement up here. If by chance you happen to pass a true to this, instead of calculating our normal level, we'll stop and we're going to calculate our projected level using the sliders instead of our stats up here. So instead of returning a character level, we'll just paste all of this in here because it's going to work identically. We're just going to reference something else and change variable names. Total projected attributes is going to be, and then you're going to say projected character level is going to be. Now, if you wanted to, you could just use character level and total attributes, but just call them above the if statement and initialize them at 0. So we're not trying to call the same name variable twice, if you understand what I'm saying. But I'm just going to change the names here. And instead of referencing our character network manager, we're going to reference our player UI manager dot level up manager, and then we're going to reference each individual slider. So the bigger stat becomes the bigger slider. Let's just go over here now and make these public because they are currently serializable and private. So public, public, public. There you go. The magic of editing. Fast forward, and we can reference all these now. Dot value. Now keep in mind you'll have to do mathf dot round to int because although we do have whole numbers ticked, Unity doesn't know that here when we're referencing it from a script. So we always want to say round to int, even though we are only using whole numbers. Now, let's just do the same thing here. So, bigger becomes bigger. Obviously, mind becomes mind, referencing the mind slider. And then endurance becomes endurance slider, referencing the endurance slider. And I'm going to skip ahead real quick so you have to watch me do the rest of these. Okay, there we go. Boom, done. All right, save that. And now we can come down here. And when we call update slider based on current selected attribute, this is called every single time we change a slider. So we want to basically know the cost every time we're changing a slider because the cost has to change then. So we can get our projected level by referencing our local player from the player UI manager. And then we can, of course, reference our character stats manager. And we can call upon the function we just added to. Now, defaultly, it's not going to require anything because it sets the bool for you by default to false. But if you pass true here, now it will give you the projected level instead. So now we can calculate the total level cost here by passing our current level and our projected level. So our projected level goes in the second position, and then before that there's a comma, and then we pass our current level by doing the same thing but not passing true. Cool, so every time we change a slider now, we're getting our current level and getting our projected level, we're passing them both, and then we're checking the cost of how much this is going to run for us to level up. Now, right now, this is just still an int, and it's supposed to return a number, so it's not doing anything. But let's go back into that function in a moment and change some things. So again, this is called every single time we change any of the level up sliders. So let's change this back from an int to a void. We're not returning anything anymore. We don't need to, but we can set the total cost up here. So let's do a serializable field, an int, and we can say total level up cost is equal to, defaultly it's at 0. Now inside this function, we can set the total level up cost to whatever we have the total cost right here. All right, cool, save that. Now I am going to say projected runes held.text is equal to, and then we're going to say total level up cost, or sorry, player's current runes minus the total level up cost. So reference your player UI manager dot local player and then get their runes from the player stats manager if you put it in the same place as me, and then subtract your total cost, and that will get you the projected runes held. And obviously we're also going to have to say .toString for that. Then right below that, we're going to say if total cost is greater than the amount of runes that you actually have held, we can say projected runes text.text is equal to .color, sorry, not .text, is equal to color.red, just to give you a little visual cue that, hey, you don't have enough to do this. And you should change a bunch of other things too, like the stats, if they're more than your current level. If your projected level is higher, just change a bunch of stuff to red that you've changed to show that you can't do it. Otherwise, normal color, we'll say it's color.white. Now, over here on confirm levels, you can see we have a bunch of pseudocode that we had from the last episode. We actually do the first one here now every time the sliders change, and we do the second one kinda. We don't have the cost deducted yet though, so we can go ahead and do that too, but we have the colors changing right there. So next we need to deduct the cost from the total runes. So under calculate cost, we can see here if the total level up cost is greater than the amount of runes that you're holding, we want to disable the button so you can't actually confirm your level up. And I'm just going to reference the player from the local player here so I can just write it shorthand. I should probably be doing that in every function here, just because it saves a bit of space on the screen as well. So we're going to say if total level up cost is greater than the player's current runes, we're going to disable the confirmation button so you cannot level up. Now we don't have a variable for that yet, so let's go ahead and make that. Optionally too, you can also, like I said, change the colors on a bunch of other things. So for example, if you're trying to level faith and your projected faith level is 18, your current level is 15, you could change the projected level to red, indicating that you can't do it. It's locked. And now we have the deduct cost and set new stats. So deducting cost is simple. All we got to do is say player stats manager.runes minus equals total level up cost. All right, let's save that and let's go and make a variable for a button. Going to make a header for buttons. We only have the one, but just to keep it separate and have it be neat and clean, we're going to make a serializable field for the button confirm levels button. Let's save that. Now down here, disable the button. Otherwise, you want to enable the button. So confirm levels button dot interactable is equal to true if you can afford it. If you can't afford it, it is equal to false. Now this needs to be called every single time we change a variable, a slider. So here, this only works if we actually hit the button. So we need to move this. Now we can put it just above, but first let's go into the level up manager and drag in our button variable. So it is there and working. Let's save that. And now we can copy all of this and delete it from here, from confirm levels, because this is the last step to confirm it. And what we want to do is paste it where we're changing the slider. So every time a slider updates, we want to check this cost to enable or disable the button. All right, cool. So let's shorthand my variable up here so I can just replace player UI.instance.local player with just player. You don't need to do it, but again, I'm just trying to save some screen real estate here. Save that, and everywhere I have player UI manager.instance.local player, I'm going to replace it with player. I'm also going to change these comments. We're going to check the cost here, enable disable the button. Cool, looks good. And now I'm going to write a comment above this. This is called every time a slider or level slider is changed. Just trying to keep this really easy to understand at first glance. And let's go right above the check cost, and we're going to say projected character level.text is equal to, because we didn't update that yet either, and we're going to use our function that we have used over here. So we can copy this right here like so. Make sure you pass true. And I'm just going to copy player at this point, and I'm going to replace all of this with just the shorthand version. There we go. The magic of editing, save you some time. And now we're going to say dot to string. All right, I think we're forgetting one thing. Let me just go back in here and check. Yeah, okay, so I forgot to say the runes held text, or runes needed text, sorry. I didn't update that, is equal to total level up cost dot to string. Now I think we're good. Let's save that back in the scene here. So, okay, if my first level is free, that's not right. My second level costs something. So get rid of this if I is less than or equal to current level. That's my bad. Now I'm going to go into the scene here. I feel like that's not right either. Hang on. Okay, the cost is working. Maybe that was right. Okay, so yeah, let's just double check though. I'm going to level up first. So let's add some runes to my character by going to the stats. So I'm going to add just a few thousand runes here. There we go, 11,000. Level up. And now I'm going to pay for some. So we're going to go right to level 20 vigor. So that puts us at level 6. And then I'm going to confirm. And now I'm going to go from level 6 to 7 and check the cost. 1,500, I think that's a bit too much. So let's go to our player UI manager here now and then go to the level up. Now if we go down to our level up manager, we can check out the array. Now let's go to level 6, and you can see here, yeah, the cost is only 383, so something is wrong there. And just as I'm saying this out loud, I just realized I just deleted something very important. We're not actually checking to see if we have our current level. I just deleted that. So if I is less than or equal to current level, continue. That's my bad. Save that. And it's supposed to be less than, not less than or equal to. So that was the mistake. Now come back over here. And now if we go in here again, I have a fresh character. And yes, it appears to be working. So the cost is 383 there. Let's just go check real fast. From 6 to 7, it should say 383. So if I go down here, click on my level up manager, level 6, 383. Cool, yes, working as intended. Now I'm just going to make sure everything's working. Again, I'm going to add some runes and just do the same thing, just to be super sure we're not missing anything. And if anybody finds anything post-video, please comment and let me know. I will immediately fix it. That goes with anything. If you guys see that's broken, please just let me know and I will fix it. Some things, of course, will be unfinished, but if I just make something in a video and you notice that it's not working as intended and I don't notice it, leave me a comment for sure. All right, so let's go back here now and let's just level up to say, let's put it up to 16, 17, 18. There we go. Yeah, so it's adding up. It's 1299 for 3 levels, so 383 plus I think it was like a little over 400. Let me check the math here. So we're going from 383, adding 433. Yeah, okay, that is adding up. Cool. All right, guys, working as intended. There you go. You have a way to level up now, and there's the cost per level. It tracks what level you're already at, everything is looking really nice. So we're going to spend one more video on this to do a few more things. I'm just going to basically do a whole video on some little UI polishes you can do to make it easier to understand for the player. We're going to change the color of the stats, the projected stats, and the runes held text and all that stuff. So basically, if you try to get levels that you can't afford, we're going to turn a bunch of stuff red. But if you can't afford it, we're going to turn the projected stats blue or even green if you wanted to indicate, hey, this is good, it's going up. And then we'll do all of that in one last episode. And if you guys want to see anything else in the level up screen before we move on, now is the time to make your voice heard. I can do it before we go on to the next subject. If not, after the next video, we will be moving on to the next thing. As always, guys, thank you very much for joining me this weekend. I hope you all have a very lovely weekend. I hope you learned something new. A special thank you to my patrons. That is because of each and every one of you I get to keep doing this, so you have my sincerest gratitude. Thank you to all who like and comment the videos, and I will see you guys next week.